Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, all of you.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes, good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Okay, so we have been
Good
doing
afternoon, ma'am.
good afternoon, Nazism and the rise of Hitler. And the last time that we met, I did the whole chapter recap with you. And so today we will simply move on with the next topic that we have, and that is the Nazi cult of motherhood. It is on page number 67. We have already done till youth in Nazi Germany, and we have seen that how Hitler was very passionately enthusiastic about the youth and about the children in Germany, and he wanted to create a society of pure Nordic German Aryans, and he wanted the Nordic German Aryans to be separated from all the undesirables who were there in Poland. Okay, so tell me, which category of people were under the undesirables? Who were the undesirables in Germany?
Ma'am, Jews
Okay, Jews were the one category of people.
people.
Then,
People.
okay, then, in addition to Jews,
Ma'am, ma'am, disabled people. Disabled.
okay,
Gypsies.
all right, gypsies, Jews were there, gypsies were there. Then, Polish people, Russians, all right, even those Germans who were physically or mentally handicapped, now all those were under the category of undesirables for them. All right, so the Nazi cult of motherhood. Now, children in Nazi Germany, they were told, they were repeatedly told that women, they were different from men. So men and women were different, and all this talk about equality and the fight for equal rights by women, now it was all wrong. So that is the teaching that Hitler gave out to the children in Germany, and he said that all this fight for voting rights and the democratic rights throughout the world, now it was all wrong, and all this would destroy the society. Now that was his frame of mind or his viewpoint, and so according to him, boys, now that is why they were taught to be aggressive, to be masculine and steel hearted, all right, because they had to lead, whereas girls, they were told that their only job was to become good mothers and to bring up pure blooded pure blooded Aryan children. So, according to Hitler, there was no equality among the genders. All right, men, they were thought to lead the country, lead the people, and they were thought to be aggressive, masculine, whereas the women, they were thought, they were considered only to be able to bring up, give birth to pure children and to rear pure blooded Aryan children. And for that purpose, the girls, they had to maintain distance from all the undesirables in Germany. So they had to maintain the purity of the race, they had to keep themselves separated from the Jews, they had to look after their home and teach their children the Nazi values. And they were said to be, the women, they were said to be the bearers, because they were the ones who will give birth to Aryan children. So they were thought to be the bearers of the Aryan race and culture. Okay, now Hitler in 1933, he said that in my country, in my state, mother is the most important person. But still in Nazi Germany, all women, they were not treated equally. So women who bore racially desirable children, they were rewarded, and all the women who bore racially undesirable children, they were punished. And so those who gave birth to racially desirable children, they were given special favors also, they were given favored treatment in hospitals, they were given concessions in shops and on theater tickets, they were given concession on railway tickets also. And now all this was done, so and then all this was done so as to encourage them to produce more children or to give birth to more children, because Hitler's viewpoint was that he thought that because the green eyed Nordic German Aryans, they were the only desirable race, so only they should they should produce more, they should reproduce, and they should prosper, and the rest, all the undesirables, they should die out. And that is why he wanted these women, these mothers, to produce more children, so that there will be more Nordic German Aryans, and so that they can control the world, or Germany could become a superpower. That is what he wanted. Okay, so to encourage women so that they will give birth to more children, honor crosses were awarded. So if a woman bore 4 children, she was given a bronze cross, and for 6 she was given a silver, and a gold cross for 8 or more children. But now this was for the women who bore racially desirable children, all right. But all women who deviated, or who turned, or who changed ways, departed from the prescribed code of conduct, all right, they were publicly condemned, and they were punished very severely. And all those women who had any contact with the Polish people, the Russians, or the Jews, so they were, like we said, they were publicly condemned. So they were paraded through the streets, and their hair was shaved off, and their faces were blackened. There was a placard was put around their neck, and on that it was written that I have sullied, means I have dirtied the honor of the nation. All right, and on that placard it was written. And many of the women, they even got jail sentences. They lost honor in public life, as well as they lost their husbands and families for this criminal offense. What was criminal offense there? That if they had any relations, all right, with the Jews, Poles, or Russians, or the undesirables, so that was considered as a criminal offense. Okay, now we move on to the art of propaganda. Now the Nazis, they used words and language, media with care. They were like very smart, we can say very smart people, and they used this media and words with much care, and also with great effect. So the terms that they have coined for their special operations to describe their various practices, now they are very deceptive, because on the surface, if you read the word, now it will look like a normal word and a very good word, but their meanings were really very scary and chilling. Like Nazis, they never use the word like kill or murder in all their official communications. They never use the word as murder, kill, though they killed millions of people, but still nowhere did they use this word kill or murder in their official communications. And mass killings, they were called as special treatment, all right. So like if a large number of people, they were going to be killed or massacred, so it was called that they were getting a special treatment, all right. And like for the Jews, they use the word, for the Jews especially, they use the word special treatment. So for the Jews, it was special treatment that they should be killed. Then it was also said to be the final solution. So as you remember, Hitler said that there was no solution for the Jewish problem. The only solution was their total elimination, means that they be totally killed. That was the only solution, means conversion was no solution to the Jewish problem, only the solution was total elimination. So whenever they wanted to kill the Jews and all, they used the term like special treatment or final solution. Then for the disabled, mentally or physically disabled, when they were killed, so it was called euthanasia, all right. And then it was called select, then they used words like selection, disinfection, all right, and like evacuation. Now what do you understand by the word evacuation? Guess class 9th, what do you understand by the word evacuation? You must have heard so many times that word in the news, in the newspapers also, that so many people have been evacuated from the flood regions and from this region. So what do you understand?
Ma'am, Come to move from one place to another.
All right, to move from one place to another. Basically, we are
One place to
evacuating,
another.
yes, in order to save them. All right, but
Yes, ma'am.
here means evacuation means moving people to a safer place. But here they use the term evacuation for what? For deporting, for taking people to the gas chambers. Means to gas them, to kill them. The word that they used was evacuation. And the gas chambers, what they looked like, they were labeled, they were called as disinfection areas. They looked like bathrooms, and just like in bathroom you have a shower head, and that is why they were called as disinfectant areas, because you go to a bathroom and you clean yourself, all right, you disinfect yourself. And so these gas chambers, they looked like bathrooms with a fake shower head also. And though obviously no water came out of it, only poisonous gas which could kill people with precision in seconds. So many large number of people could be killed with precision. And they had shower heads, and these gas chambers, they were labeled as disinfection areas. Okay. Media, now that was also used very carefully, and all this was done so that they can get more support for the Nazi regime, for their ideas and their for their principles. And Nazi ideas, they were spread through so many things. So they were spread through visual images, and through films and radios and posters and catchy slogans and leaflets. Means you just lift up your head and you open your eyes, and it was Nazi propaganda. It was all over, it was all around. And in these posters, there were groups of people which were identified as enemies of Germans. So all those who were identified as enemies of Germans, obviously all the Jews, the gypsies, the Polish people, the Russians, and all that, so they were stereotyped, and they were mocked. So in all these leaflets and newspapers, and on posters and radio, through leaflets and everything, stereotypes were made about the enemies of the Jews. And they were mocked, they were abused, they were called as evil. And all this they did, and it was all around, so that whatever goes into your head, whatever is around you, that is what goes in you. So the people, when they heard anything, it was all against the enemies of the Jews. When they opened their eyes, when they read anything, they saw, so it was all against their enemies, against the undesirables in Germany. So they were mocked, and they were abused, and they were talked about evil, and that is what got into the people of Germany. So socialists and liberals in Germany, they were represented as weak people, and degenerate. Degenerate means as abnormal. So the socialists and the liberals, now they were termed as weak. They were thought that they were abnormal. They were not normal people, and that is why, obviously, because they were normal, they were abnormal. So obviously they deserve to be killed. Then they were attacked as malicious foreign agents. So the socialists and the liberals, they were attacked as foreign agents, malicious foreign agents. Why? Because socialists, what do socialism say? They are against the concentration of money, wealth, power in the hands of few. They want that the means of production, they should be owned by community as a whole, by society as a whole. And liberals, obviously they are in for changes, for social changes and all, to bring about a better social, economic, and political structure in any society. So they were against all these people, because obviously all these people, they talked about change, and that is what Hitler did not like. He wanted only his views and his theories to be prevalent in Germany. And propaganda films, they were also made to create hatred. Now, to create hatred for the Jews in the hearts of Germans, films were made. And propaganda is something which might be true, but most of the time the information that you give out through it is not true. It is to change your mindset, or to make the opinion of a people in a certain way. So propaganda films were made to create hatred for the Jews, and the most infamous film that was made was The Eternal Jew. And the Orthodox Jews, means the way that they looked, they were stereotyped and they were marked. And the Orthodox Jews, they were means their pictures and images that were all there throughout Germany. Now they were shown with having flowing beards, means very very long beards, and wearing kaftans, which are long dresses from your neck till the sole of your feet. And but so they stereotyped them, the Orthodox Jews, as this. But in reality, it was very difficult to distinguish a German Jew from their outward experience, from their outward appearance. It was very difficult to make out that whether this was a German Jew or this was a real German, because they were a highly assimilated community, means they had been living there for so long, they had got totally mixed up. And even their features, by their features also, physical features also, the way they talked and all that, now it was very difficult to make out that whether a person was a Jew, a German Jew, or a person was a total real German. But still, they thought and they popularized that Jews, they wore these long kaftans, and they had very long beards. And whenever they talked about the Jews, they talked that they referred to the Jews as vermin. Vermin are small animals, small insects like rats and all that. So they were referred to as vermin, as rats, and as pests. And their movement, the way they moved, they walked, their movement was also compared to the movement of rodents like rats and all that, that family. So when they talked about, they made films about that. So they said that just like the way a mouse or a rat moves around the house, so in the same way the Jews, they also moved. And Nazi propaganda, it was everywhere, so that it worked on the minds of the people. And it tapped their emotions, means it struck their emotions, because that was all everywhere. And they presented it in such a manner that people, they wanted to believe it, that people, they wanted to even if they thought that it was not entirely correct, but still they wanted to believe it, and they wanted to go along with it. And so Nazism, it worked on the minds of the people and on their emotions. And the Nazi propaganda was so strong that these Germans also, they were filled with hatred and anger at all the undesirables in the country. Means they did not use their mind, their intellect. It was all completely controlled by the Nazis. And the Nazis, they made equal efforts to appeal to all the different sections of the population, all right. And so they they talked to all the other people who were living in Germany, the Germans and all, and they made appeals to them in different ways, and all to get their support. And so they suggested that only the Nazis, they had the solution to the economic, to the social and the political problem that Germany was facing, and they alone were the ones who could solve all the problems and lift Germany out of the ashes. And that is what the people wanted. And so because that is what they wanted, their dignity and their pride had been hurt so much. So whatever the Nazis said, and because the propaganda, it was so strong, Hitler being such a good orator, so that is what the people, they started to believe. Okay. So now we saw that what Hitler did to the people living there, especially to the Jews and all that. Now there were so many other people in Germany also. So how did the common people, those who were living in Germany, how did they react to this Nazism? Now many of the people, they saw the world, they saw at everything through Nazi eyes, means the way the Nazis wanted them. And so whenever they spoke the language which the Nazis wanted them to speak. And whenever they saw anyone who looked like a Jew, so they could feel their anger and hatred rise up inside them whenever they found anyone looking like a Jew. And whenever they saw any Jew or were suspicious about a Jew, so they used to mark their houses and report the authorities about that okay, a Jew is living in our area and all that. So they used to report about them also. And they really genuinely believed that Nazism will bring prosperity in their country, and it will improve the general well-being of all the people living in Germany. But not everyone in Germany was a Nazi, and there were many who even organized resistance against Nazism. And many of the people, they had to bear repression of the Nazis. Many of them, they died also, and but those were only very few in number. But the large majority of the Germans, they were simply passive onlookers, means not actively involved in anything. You just simply see at what is going on, and means without reacting on it, or without having a response on it. You simply just see whatever is going on without saying anything or without doing anything. So they were just passive onlookers and apathetic witnesses, means like they did not have any concern or interest in what was going on around them. Maybe we could say that they were too scared. They were too scared to act on what was going on, or they were too scared to differ, to say that no, we don't agree with you, or they were too afraid to even protest, to lift their voices against what was going on. And so because they were too scared, so they preferred that they will look in another direction. They will not look where all this was going on, all this treacherous acts was going on, where all this massacre was going on. So they decided that they will look other way, and they will not even look there. Now Pastor Neumiller, who was a resistance fighter who fought against the Nazis, and he said that he observed an absence of protest. That there was an absence of protest, means normally what happens, if people don't like a thing, then they raise their voice and they say anything against it. But these people, they did not react anything, and there was an uncanny silence. Uncanny means there was strange, a mysterious silence, a silence which you are not able to understand. So he said that there was a mysterious and a strange silence which was very difficult to understand. And so there was this absence of protest, a mysterious silence among the ordinary Germans, because they were basically not concerned about what is going on. They were totally quiet even when they saw this brutal and organized crimes against so many people, but still they decided to look away. And Pastor Neumiller, he wrote about all this very movingly in these lines. And let's see what he says. He says, first they came for the communists. Well, I was not a communist, so I said nothing. Then they came for the social democrats. Well, I was not a social democrat, so I did nothing. Then they came for the trade unionists, but I was not a trade unionist. And then they came for the Jews, but I was not a Jew, so I did little. And then when they came for me, there was no one left who could stand up for me. So he describes the reaction of the people in this way, that if they came to kill the communists, okay, I am not a communist, so why should I be bothered? And then they came for the social democrats. Neither I am a socialist, neither I am in favor of democracy, so why should I bother? If they are killed, they are tortured, okay, that does not matter to me. Then they came for the trade unionists and all that. Okay, I do not belong to that group also, and then I did not even belong to the Jews. So like if they came to take them to the gas chambers and kill them, I was not bothered. And but last, what happened when they came to take me, then all around there was no one left to stand up for me. So that was the condition of the people in Nazi Germany. Now what Jews they felt in Nazi Germany, now that is a different story altogether. And Charlotte Barrett, she secretly recorded the dreams of the people in her diary, and later on she published them in a highly disconcerting book. Means if you read that book, now you will be troubled by reading that book, and it is called as the Third Reich of Dreams. Okay, now the first realm is said to be of the German Empire, the Holy German Empire, and then the second is said to be of the Weimar Republic, and the third is said to be of the Nazi Germany. So she wrote about this Nazi Germany, and that is what she wrote about in this the Third Reich of Dreams. She has written about the dreams of the people and the torture that they suffered in Nazi Germany, and she described that how the Jews, they themselves began believing in the Nazi stereotypes. Means it was not only the Germans that they started to believe at what all was going on, but even the Jews. That this Nazi propaganda was so much all around that even the people, even the Jews, they started to think that the stereotypes that the Nazis are spreading all around us. Now they thought that was true, because they also started to dream of that they had these hooked noses, and having black hairs and black eyes, and the way they describe the looks of Jewish people, like having long beards, wearing kaftans, and the way they moved around like rodents, like rats and all. So even they started to believe that really they also look like that only. And these images, these stereotypical images that were publicized by the Nazis, they haunted the Jews. Means it haunted them so much, not only while they were awake, but even in their dreams the Jews were haunted about them. And many of the Jews, they died many deaths before they reached the final gas chamber. So many of them, they died many times. Means each day when all these things were done to them, they were like dying each day, till finally they were taken to the gas chambers to be finally charred to death. So that was what the Jews, they suffered in Nazi Germany. Okay, so that is all the time we have for today, and when we meet tomorrow in the first period, then we'll finish this last paragraph, and along with that I will also give you the questions. Okay, so what we did today, have you understood?
Thank you, ma'am.
Understood all?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,